And into that, you introduced the term immunogenicity. Now, I always like to remember that vaccines immunogenicity is good. However, in the context of biosimilars, we've had this flag that somehow immunogenicity is bad. And I think what's evolved is immunogenicity can indeed compromise the efficacy of some of these products over time, particularly perhaps in the immunology space of some of these chronic diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis. However, that can be intrinsic to the molecule itself that you're matching, and a biosimilar is going to be essentially equally as bad as well as good as the reference. We're doing comparative immunogenicity in these limited studies. We've got the data from Europe in which we've seen that in real-world use, the patterns match and they're the same. So really, is there any particular concern with immunogenicity and biosimilars that physicians, patients, providers, anybody should be concerned by, or is it just something we monitor?
I'll start and then I'll ask my colleagues to opine. I think it's important to evaluate immunogenicity. But as you mentioned, Jillian, the goal here is to demonstrate that the immunogenicity characteristics or the immunogenicity or immune response of the biosimilar is equivalent or matches what you would expect in the reference product. So, some biologics are more immunogenic than others. The more complex biologics, some of the monoclonals, are more immunogenic than the simpler biologics. And amongst the monoclonals, some are more immunogenic than others. But again, what we're trying to demonstrate here is that there is no difference in the immunogenicity profile of the biosimilar and the reference product. We look at this in all the clinical studies, whether they be human volunteer pharmacokinetic studies or in efficacy and safety studies, phase 3 confirmatory studies in patients. And then this is evaluated also through pharmacovigilance and other means. And again, I just want to emphasize that in Europe, where biosimilars have been available for over 10 years and millions of patients have received it, or there are 700 million patient days, I should say, that of experience so far, there's been no difference. And there are also a series of studies now that have shown that there is really no difference in immunogenicity profile from comparing a biosimilar to a reference product.